The summer heat in Phoenix, Arizona was relentless. The kind of heat that wrapped around you like a heavy blanket, making even the smallest tasks exhausting. I, Rachel Carter, had just moved into a new neighborhood with my 12-year-old daughter, Sophie, after leaving behind a painful chapter of my life. I thought the hardest part of starting over would be the paperwork, the boxes, and the new school for Sophie. But it wasn't. The hardest part was the loneliness that came when the dust settled. The silence inside the walls. The absence of laughter, of familiarity. One evening, drained from unpacking, I decided to order dinner. I had no energy to cook, and Sophie begged for pizza. So I pulled out my phone and placed the order, not knowing that a simple delivery would change everything. The knock on the door came about 40 minutes later. Sophie dashed to the door before I could get up. Standing there was a young man in a delivery uniform, maybe mid-20s, holding a steaming pizza box with a polite smile. His name tag read Ethan. "Delivery for Rachel?" he asked. "That's me," I said, stepping forward. I paid him, but when I tried to carry the pizza inside, the box slipped slightly in my tired hands. Ethan steadied it quickly. "Careful," he said gently. "Long day." I chuckled softly. "You could say that. Just moved in, and I think the boxes are winning." He smiled wider. "Moving is brutal. I helped my mom last year, and it took forever. If you ever need an extra set of hands," he trailed off, as if realizing he might be overstepping. But something in his tone struck me. Kindness without pity. I don't know why I did it, but I asked, "Actually, would you mind? Just for 5 minutes. Sophie and I can't lift the bookshelf, and it's blocking the hallway." His eyebrows lifted, surprised, but then he nodded. "Sure. I'd be glad to help." That was the first time Ethan came inside our home. He set the pizza down, rolled up his sleeves, and in less than 10 minutes had the heavy bookshelf in place. Sophie clapped, declaring him a superhero. When he left, I thanked him again. He waved it off. "Anytime, really. I mean it." Days passed. Then weeks. Each time I ordered food, Ethan seemed to be the one making the delivery. And each time I found myself asking him for little favors, not because I wanted to burden him, but because he offered so willingly, and he always seemed genuinely glad to help. Once, it was fixing a stubborn door hinge. Another time, replacing a light bulb in a ceiling fixture I couldn't reach. Sophie adored him, following him around like he was some kind of big brother figure. And me? I started to notice the little things. The way he always smiled when he saw us. The way he listened, really listened when I talked. One evening, after a long day at work, I returned home to find Sophie upset. Her science project was due, and she had accidentally broken the cardboard model she had spent weeks building. I tried to comfort her, but I didn't know how to fix it. In desperation, I ordered dinner again, half for convenience, half because I hoped Ethan would be the one delivering. When the knock came and I saw him standing there, relief washed over me. "Ethan," I said almost too eagerly. "Do you know anything about science projects?" He laughed. "Depends on the science." Within minutes, he was on the floor with Sophie, helping her rebuild the project. They worked with such focus and teamwork that by the time it was done, Sophie was smiling again. As I watched them, my chest tightened, not with sadness, but with something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. From then on, Ethan became part of our lives. Not just a delivery boy, not just a neighborly helper, but someone who filled the gaps we hadn't even realized were there. Of course, people noticed. Neighbors whispered. My coworkers raised eyebrows when I mentioned him. "Isn't he younger?" one asked. Yes, he was younger. But what they didn't see was how mature he was, how selfless. They didn't see how he showed up without judgment, how he made Sophie laugh, how he reminded me that not all people left when things got hard. One rainy night, the power went out. Sophie was scared, thunder booming outside. I lit candles, but the storm made the house feel eerie. Then came a knock at the door. Ethan, drenched from the rain, holding bags of groceries. "I thought you might need these," he said, stepping inside. "And maybe some company." Together, the three of us sat in the living room, telling stories by candlelight, eating snacks straight from the bags. Sophie eventually fell asleep against the couch, and I looked at Ethan. "Why do you do this?" I whispered. He met my eyes, his expression steady. Because I want to. Because you deserve someone in your corner. My throat tightened. I wanted to argue, to say I didn't deserve it. But I didn't. Because the truth was, I needed him. And maybe, just maybe, he needed us too. As months turned into a year, Ethan was no longer just the delivery boy. He was part of our family. He came to school events, fixed leaky faucets, celebrated birthdays with us. One evening, Sophie hugged him tightly after he helped her win a robotics contest. "You're the best," she said. He smiled at her, then glanced at me. His eyes held something unspoken, something I didn't resist anymore. Looking back, it seems strange how it all began, with a simple request for help. "I request the delivery boy for this," I had said, half joking, half despairing. Luckily, he also wanted the same thing. Not money, not thanks, but belonging. And in giving us his time, his heart, his care, he found a home too.